Hello and welcome to the Cybersecurity Leadership series organized by CyberHouston. In today's live webinar, we will lay out the steps on how your business can avail of the new $10 million COVID-19 Special Skills Development Initiative. And I have just the person who is in charge of the program here to answer all your questions. I am Umesh Verma, CEO of Blue Lance and the founder of CyberHouston. CyberHouston is a Department of Homeland Security recognized ISAO. That's the acronym is ISAO, and it stands for the Information Sharing and Analysis Organization. Now, in the Cybersecurity Leadership series, we highlight our region's cybersecurity rock stars and masterminds and bring valuable information to you, especially during this time of the COVID-19 pandemic. We thank our sponsors, Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, Blue Lance, Reneka Digital, and the University of Houston Downtown for underwriting the Cybersecurity Leadership series. Now, we love engaging in an interactive exchange. So if you have a question or comment anytime during the session, please enter it in the live chat section, and we will try and answer as many as we can. And we are just like everyone else. We love being loved. So show us some love by hitting the like or the love button and cheering us on. And remember to subscribe and hit the notification button. That way, YouTube and Facebook will automatically notify you whenever we are scheduled to go live. Now, today's topic features the new $10 million COVID-19 Special Initiative. The Skills Development Fund COVID-19 Special Initiative is a partnership between the Corporate College at Houston Community College and the Texas Workforce Commission, developed in direct response to the pandemic outbreak. Joining us today is Jennifer Holmes. She is the director of the Corporate College Office of Entrepreneurial Initiatives at Houston Community College. Jennifer has over 30 years of achievement in education, community relations, community development, entrepreneurship, and leadership in public, private, and not-for-profit sectors. She has extensive experience in strategic program planning and evaluation. And as a small business owner offering consulting and coaching services to support small businesses, development and growth, she has facilitated annual retreats, organizational assessments, seminars, diversity workshops, and strategic planning for such businesses and organizations like ExxonMobil, the City of Houston, National Multiple Sclerosis Society, Houston Community College, Sickle Cell Association, United Way of Greater Houston, and Planned Parenthood. As the executive director of 3 not-for-profit organizations, she administered programs, services, and facilities to strengthen economically underserved communities. She has served on the boards of several not-for-profit organizations, including Sam Houston Boy Scouts, YWCA, Mental Health Association of Fort Bend County, and others. She is a senior fellow of the American Leadership Forum Class 28. Now, folks, she is the real deal, and you're in for a treat today. She has, in addition to all the other great stuff, she has organized and managed lectures, seminars, and conferences at the Baker Institute for Public Policy at Rice University, hosted domestic and foreign dignitaries like George Bush, Colin Powell, Madeleine Albright, Henry Kissinger, Yasser Arafat, Mikhail Gorbachev, and others. Folks, as I said, she's the real deal. Welcome, Jennifer. It's so great to have this great dignitary with us today on our broadcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're so humble. Come on, Jennifer. Yeah. So, Jennifer, you know, COVID has changed our life and our business life, and we all have moved We were moved out of our offices, many of us, most of us, moved out of our offices, including yourself, and started working from home. And that really changed our day-to-day work life, right? And we found that we could get onto one call after another after another. We cut out our commute time. And what that has done is really allowed us, I guess it's encroached on our me time. And but it's also important that we all take some me time. And so what have you been doing to keep yourself amused, and what do you do with your free time, and how do you break away? And you are an animal lover, you're a dog lover. But so what have you been doing?
Well, I love watching nature shows, and that my weekends are usually spent watching PBS and all the nature shows and animals. But the newest thing that I've been doing is I am obsessed with flying fox, the flying fox. There is a woman from Australia who rescues um, there's one of the cute ones. That's probably Molly. She does rescues for flying fox if something happens where they may fall. And I love them. They have the cutest face and that look, that's unconditional love. As you said earlier, I think we as humans really, really love to notice our interconnection and how we work together with one another. And so that's just a great example. And I have spent a lot of time getting to know many, many flying fox. They're bats.
Yeah, and you've been following this lady in Australia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she has a great website. I mean, we're not in the business of promoting websites, but I think she's, it's just an amazing thing. And so it's nice to have something to break away with. And you
Yes,
know what? I got to say, yeah. So before we get started, you know, I have to acknowledge someone today. I just see that, guess what? As a dad, you're always proud of your children. And today I have, guess what? My daughter has joined in, and she sends us a comment that says, "Hi, Dad." Well, hi, Reva. Thanks for joining the show. Good to see you here. And so, Jennifer, Reva, and Reva's done quite a bit of work with your digital program. But so Jennifer, tell us about what's the corporate college at HCC and what's your role, and then we'll get right into the TWC Skills Development Fund.
Absolutely. Many people know community colleges for the work that they do with associate's degree programs, certificate programs for students on the credit side, and they receive those associate's degrees and certificates. And we also have the continuing education side of the house. The corporate college at Houston Community College is the contract training arm of the college. We don't work with individual students. We work directly with the business community to develop customized workforce solutions. The bulk of our work is delivered on site at the businesses. We sit down with them. They share with us some of their challenges and goals and objectives. And based on the information that we collect, we develop customized training programs for them. And we have the resources of the entire Houston Community College to draw from: subject matter experts, existing curriculum, and then we work with an instructional design team that is part of corporate college to develop workforce solutions that are specific to each of our individual clients.
So you develop custom classes, or do you already have packaged classes?
Well, we do both. Who we are is based on the needs of the business community, our clients. And so there are some programs that we have developed based on our communications, our relationships in the community, and where there is a need and there's a repeat need in the community, we do have some series that we have put together based on that. And we'll talk a bit about, we have worked in partnership with CyberHouston to develop our cybersecurity series. And so we are going to spend some time today, and you spoke about this in the lead-in, that there is $10 million that's been set aside by the Texas Workforce Commission to address those businesses who have been impacted by COVID-19. Now, who hasn't been affected in some way, directly or indirectly, are part of the chain that may affect the production of various products. So I want to say a little bit about this $10 million. Texas Workforce Commission has worked with us to help support and grow businesses in the community, small to medium-sized businesses. And there's a lengthy process normally for that to happen through a fund that's called the Skills Development Fund. But what they've done is they have taken some of those funds from the Skills Development Fund and set, again, $10 million aside for us to utilize and develop training specifically to those individuals who need it. And they have made the process easy. That what I'd love for the listeners and your audience today to know is this is a source of funding, and the simplicity in which one can access it. If this is an opportunity that we may not have for a very long time. So today I am sharing with individual businesses, this is your opportunity. What we have done with our training, and we've adapted to what's happening with COVID-19, is a lot of our training can be delivered remotely. And so we are eager to talk to businesses, especially about our partnership that we have with CyberHouston, to look at the cybersecurity series that we already have existing. And we can also take those specific topics as a lead-in, and then the business may decide, there's other training, leadership training, sexual harassment training, HR training. The big topic that a lot of people are interested in right now is diversity and inclusion. Our country is very mindful that we really do need to look at that as a topic, and we already have a product that we can deliver and customize specific to any business.
So tell us about the Peak Training Initiative, and how does one access that, and how do they get their employees trained, and how do companies benefit from it? Do they have to actually pay you the money? Do they have to claim it? Or do they just go to the class and TWC pays you, or is there a cost to the businesses? Can we explore that for our viewers, please?
Absolutely. So, as soon as we, the Houston Community College, corporate college, recognized that we were going to be working remotely and many of our businesses would be impacted, we immediately started meeting with various businesses, the chambers of commerce, to look at and determine what needs there were out there that we can quickly respond to. So we developed what we've described as a peak performance training series. And part of that is we have specifically targeted certain industries, but there are some that are focused on every industry that every industry may need. And included in those all industries, we came up with a crisis resiliency series that really focuses on what do I need to be doing right now as a business. Strategically, let's look at my strategic plan and focus and target that strategic plan based on what is happening with COVID-19 so that we could be agile and flexible in dealing with this. We are also looking at how do I remain engaged with my clients, with my target market during this period. And then the other piece is, what do I need to be looking at financially? What insurances do I need to have? So that is a series that we have put together that really focuses on resiliency during a crisis period. It is a tried and true series that we have delivered during the last Hurricane Harvey. And so we know that it is something that can certainly add value to those businesses who are trying to figure out how to adapt and really survive what we're experiencing right now with the COVID-19. But not only that, how do you thrive once you move beyond the COVID-19? Part of that is looking at the other piece too that all industry is. We have a transformational leadership series, and of course the cybersecurity series, where this is an area, and Umesh, I would love just for you to chime in, where we recognize people focus on cybersecurity post emergency and crises. And so we tend to, as a society, be very reactive. And what we're encouraging, and I am sure those individuals who are listening to us today are those individuals who will be proactive and really use this time and these funds to really, really focus on cybersecurity, cyber hygiene, and all of those trainings that we have as part, well thought out training that we have as part of that series. And so let's say a little bit about how the funding works. We have already requested a pot of money based on what we are hearing the needs of the business community here in Houston. So this $10 million is available across the state, but we want to make sure that we capture as much of that, those funds here in Houston, so we are addressing the needs of Houstonians. The Houston Community College Corporate College has already applied, and we've secured a chunk of funds. The way those funds will work is the business partners will meet with us and let us know, yes, I am in fact interested in utilizing these funds. They can receive up to $2,000 in training per employee in their company. So you can choose from the menu of trainings that we have in the Peak Performance Training Series, or we can also customize any trainings that you need. There is a very, very simple application to secure the gain access to the funds that we have already secured as Houston Community College, and that is we need contact information on the business. We need their EIN number. As long as you are paying unemployment taxes, you are eligible to receive these funds. We have a person on our team who will work with those individuals to we gather that information. And then what we do is we identify the training that you'd actually like to take. So say, for example, you'd like to have 10 employees in your company register for cyber hygiene. With that, we can set the training up based on your schedule and your training needs. We are flexible. We are able to set trainings up based on what the company needs, because we are very mindful of your production schedule. Our focus is to design and assure that delivery happens in a setting, and we're doing it. We can do it remote. There are some companies who are large enough that they've got space for us to safely deliver our training. So we work all those details out with you. It's not a cookie cutter process. It is a process where the business is central to all of the steps that we take to deliver. The costs associated with the trainings are specific to each of the training, and once you have identified your training, that the topics that you want, then we will work with you and share the cost of that training.
So Jennifer, that's really exciting. So if I understand this correctly, just synthesizing it, as a business, you determine your need. First of all, there's a catalog of courses that HCC has that are eligible for sending your employees for training for this fund. So long as you have an EIN number, which is and you're current on your state unemployment taxes, you're eligible. You have an application, which is a very simple application. I don't know if we have a copy of that we can pull up, but if we don't.
No, we don't. It was so simple. We didn't even think we
Yeah. So I think that's the important thing. It's very simple, right? And you can find it at HCC Corporate College, or we'll put the link to it in the comments below when we publish this live. So it'll be there for people. So you apply, you fill out this application, and then they submit it to you and say, these are the list of people that we want to take the class. And this is the series of, these are the sets of classes. And the typical cost of a class is
it may
anywhere
be
from
somewhere around $300.
So cost of a class for a person to go to a class is $300, but they don't have to write you a check for that $300.
No.
So they just you process the paperwork, you set up the schedule for them at that time. They show up either in person or online. So in this period of time, it's online.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
And then just when they finish the class, then all the paperwork is done behind the scenes, and HCC bills the state, gets the $300, and the company's employees have their skills updated or upgraded.
Yeah.
And so all we have to do as businesses is to give the people their time, and you said they have to be making a livable wage. Is that what it is?
Yes, it's a prevailing wage. So what we will do, and again, in terms of the application, what I would say is we work with them to complete any information. We review it, and then that application actually goes to TWC, and TWC will confirm the company's EIN number, confirm, yes, they are in fact paying prevailing wages, and they let us know, person Mr. Smith is approved for $300, and we keep track. So Mr. Smith may have taken a training for $300. That means that Mr. Smith is still eligible for a remaining $1,700 in training, and that can continue throughout the year. One of the things I'd really like to encourage your listeners to do is, this is a huge opportunity to get your workforce trained, to help your employees see that you value them. Training is one of those things that helps with retention. Training helps send the message to your employees that you really care about providing them with the resources that they need to function and do their job. Sometimes people are concerned, if I train them so well, they'll leave me. That we find that to be exactly the opposite, that employees are really loyal when they know that they have an employer who will train them and help them to be successful in their job. So this is a wonderful opportunity for you to look at your training goals for not only during this period of COVID-19, but look at what your training goals are for the year. And then I can help you beyond COVID-19, assure that you have training dollars available on an annual basis for your employees. Not only is this $2,000 available per employee during the COVID-19 period, but we've got other pots of money, and I won't go into that today because our focus is we've got to spend this $10 million up. But again, look at it as a long-term strategy to assure that you are keeping a trained workforce. What that does for you is increases your revenue and bottom line. And again, you have a well-trained workforce, and you're not having to spend and focus your time on trying to recruit the appropriate individuals. You can train who you have in your company. I can't tell you all how excited we are, and many of the companies, we have already had several companies who have heard about this, and they're already in the process of completing their training plans and moving forward with training. This is an opportunity that I can't stress enough how great it is for us to have this. And what I want you all to know is when we use this $10 million up, TWC is positioned to replenish it. So I'm encouraging everyone out there who is listening to us to take this opportunity if you have been needing to train. And even if you don't maybe recognize right now the importance of having training, what I can say to you about the cybersecurity series is once you engage in that training, it will help you unfold for many of you the importance of cybersecurity in your organization. We're on a mission as well to make sure that individuals they're not the ones that are caught with, gosh, I should have done something, that you're really being proactive about cybersecurity. And along with that, if you look at the Peak Performance Series, leadership, understanding leadership, and making good, sound decisions about your organization, such as having a strategic plan, having a cybersecurity plan, having all those things in place, we have the tools to help get you there.
So, Jennifer, I just want to make this very clear for the audience. They get up to $2,000 per employee per year that they can access in credits, essentially. And if a class is running 300 to 400, that means each employee can probably take 5, 6, 7 classes in the year and so that can be a lot of skill development that our unemployment, state taxes that us as businesses pay to the state are being redeployed into our companies to help our information, to help our employees keep their skills up, and that helps the company and keeps us moving forward, especially in this time of COVID. Is that correct?
Yes, and let me clarify something. Why it is so important that we get people moving right now. The $2,000 is just the COVID-19 series.
Yes.
Beyond that, it's $900 a year. So you've got 3 times
almost 3,000. Yeah.
Now, but if we're with COVID-19, the COVID-19 initiative, you can get up to $2,000 per employee. Once we move beyond that, and again, none of us know how long COVID-19 is going to impact us, but the general amount that one could get for employees is usually $1,800 for new employees, and those are individuals who've been with you less than 12 months. And then once they've been with you for 12 months, then it moves into $900 a year. So this is a great opportunity to get more training than we've been able to get for individual employees. And one of the things that I'm saying is use this as an opportunity to really look at your strategic training plan for yourself. And then we will sit down with you and look at, again, once you start training, it's going to open the door for you to really understand the need for training in your organization. We're talking about how we figured out how to do things during COVID-19, and for every crisis, there's an opportunity. Use this time for training so that when we are back up and fully operational, you have a workforce that's ready to roll up their sleeves and really, really move forward with it.
And so, Jennifer, we have
I think someone is asking, is this program for not-for-profits? Unfortunately, no, it's not. But I've got some good news for the not-for-profits out there. There is another pot of funds that the Texas Workforce Commission has. The name of that fund is the SelfSufficiency Fund. What we have been doing at Houston Community College is working with not-for-profit organizations, especially during this period of time, to identify high demand careers. With that, we are looking at, for example, right now, logistics is a huge topic. If we can get individuals trained, especially it is for individuals in marginalized communities who are TANF eligible. The not-for-profit organization actually will apply for the funds. They can receive up to $2,300 per individual for training. Houston Community College Corporate College designs the training plan and works alongside the not-for-profit organization. We deliver the training. The not-for-profit organization provides the wraparound services that I call, as a person who has over 30 years of experience in not-for-profit. They provide the supports with resume writing. We make sure that when we do apply for those funds, we have companies who have demonstrated to us there is a need. We're right now working with 2 not-for-profit organizations, Change Happens, to train individuals in the third ward community in welding and construction, electrical, and forklift training. They come out of the program with a certificate that they can get placed into a job. We're also working with the Easter Seals to train individuals in A+ certificate, which is a computer training certificate, as well as carpentry and some of the construction fields. So yes, there's good news. There is money out there. And what I can say is the Houston community has not been accessing these funds. And I am on a mission, along with CyberHouston and anyone who will listen, to really encourage our community, our businesses, to use the money that is actually coming from your own unemployment taxes. Like the commercial says, it's your money, use it. And we have a way to utilize it in an effective way that can really, really help you as a business owner.
So, Jennifer, you've talked a lot about the cybersecurity program that CyberHouston has put together with HCC Corporate. And CyberHouston has this whole series of content. If we can pop that slide up, please. So these are some of the topics which are cyber hygiene. It's so important to have good cyber hygiene, just like health hygiene. So kind of relational to our current situation. If you take care of good personal hygiene, like washing your hands, washing your face, and brushing your teeth, stuff like that, you tend to ward off viruses and problems. The same thing with cyber hygiene. There are like 20 or 30 things that every organization should be doing. And that would slough off, if that would improve your cyber posture and make businesses much better and resilient. And so we worked, and we have courseware that we have talked about through our CyberHouston leadership group and our Greater Houston Cybersecurity Council. They worked to put all of this content together. The cybersecurity risk assessment, the whole role of human resources in cybersecurity, policy and compliance issues where cybersecurity is concerned, impacts on physical security, access controls, incident response and operational technology are huge with SCADA and the grid, etc. Communications and operations and management security. If you have an incident, you really don't want to be caught trying to develop a communications plan after the incident. So what do you do to plan, to prepare, to practice in the event that you have it? When you're developing software, what do you have to do to kind of ensure that the code is good and solid and it is reliable and dependent and resilient and it's available? Cyber resilience in business continuity and disaster recovery. Now, this is a course that you and I and others have been speaking about, rolling this course in as part of the business continuity and disaster recovery curriculum. And so that's that. And then let's not forget about vendor management. Vendor management is such an area where large enterprises are requiring certain vendor certifications and certain degree of assurance from vendors that they are taking care of their infrastructures. They are going to be able to continue to provide services and products back to the enterprise and without disruption. And what are they doing to improve their posture to be better and stronger partners back to the enterprise? So in this situation, companies could rally around and say, okay, they want to send, they can pick from this list how many ever classes they want, package that in, and schedule that with HCC. And then in our partnership, we would either have HCC instructors or some of our members of our cybersecurity council work as subject matter experts in order to present or to provide the information. So they have access to some phenomenal people and talent. And so this, I think, is the topic of cybersecurity. I wanted to kind of cover that because of course, we are the Cybersecurity Leadership Council here, and we're talking about cybersecurity leadership series. So did that accurately kind of cover that they could go through that kind of menu, they can package it for their companies. So let's say a major utilities company or a major real estate development company wants to send 50 of their people through a security awareness training that involves cyber hygiene, that involves day-to-day operations, that involves business resilience and continuity of operations, disaster services. So if they package those three in, and let's walk through the process for them to actually avail of those funds. And do their people all have to come at the same time, or can they take it online on demand?
At this point, since we're developing our virtual rollout, we would need at least 15 individuals in order for us to launch a specific title or training, just because for it to be cost effective for us. But we also can bring together several businesses, and so, for example, if there's a small business that wants to send one or two individuals, we can put several businesses together. What I have to say, one comment I'd like to make about the cybersecurity series is like with the financials. Every aspect of your business is affected by cybersecurity. So it is something that individuals should be considering as part of just their strategic plan. And yes, right now they're all going to be online, and we would need at least a minimum of 15 individuals in order for us to actually offer them. But then we can strategize with several businesses together to assure that we have enough individuals. And that is not something that we want the individual business to be concerned with. We do all that work in the background to make sure that it happens.
So Jennifer, we have President Barillo of Southwest College on.
Great.
Welcome, President Barillo. Thanks. Good to see you. She's put in a comment, and I think she says, are these courses being offered in partnership with HCC Digital and the Technology Cybersecurity Program designated by the NSA and Homeland Security, the Center of Excellence for Cybersecurity Education?
Well, right now, since they're all just one-day training, we are just they're all specifically just one-day training. They're not really courses, but because of our relationship with all of our centers of excellence, depending on what a actual company wants and needs, we always go to our centers of excellence and work with them and let them know, hey, we've got something. Would you sit in on this as a subject matter expert and help us with this and design it? But right now, as they are training, and my goal and our hope is that when we've got individual training, that would help companies to recognize that they need to move beyond that there are certificate programs that may help their individual employees. And so what we do is really work to first gain access and identify those companies who need training. And in that, then we may uncover and discover that first and foremost that they would like to have their individual employees may feed into a certificate program or degree program. So this is the way that, again, as I said earlier, about the resources that we bring to the table when we engage in discussions with our business partners, is we're not just speaking about what corporate college has to offer, but we're also looking at the whole of the college. And sometimes that may mean if there's not a large enough number for us to customize a class, we can actually feed them directly into either our credit or our continuing education programs. And the Skills for Small Business pot of money that I mentioned is also something that they can access and go directly into individual classes. So it's not just that they would be doing training for their employees, but there are some companies that will do training, and then they may have one or two individuals where we work with them specifically to look at programs that are credit or continuing education training in our college.
Yeah, and I think the point is well made, Jennifer, because these are 2, 3, and 4 hour seminars. They're really like seminars, right? And they're accessing a very specific fund with the Texas Workforce Commission. And President Barillo, thank you for bringing this question up, because CyberHouston is working with Sean and with Samir Saber over at Southwest College in order to bring some of this same information in more detail into the curriculum. So those are 2 separate initiatives around the same subject matter. So I think these seminars are like for the business executive, tapping into the Texas COVID-19 fund for skills development, and then the course development is continuing on with Dean Otamishi and with Samir. So great question, and great support with HCC for CyberHouston. We really do appreciate all of the help and the partnership that we have, this lovely partnership that we have with HCC. So then we have another question that is that came up, and Elizabeth is asking from Facebook, is if you need to have a minimum number of employees to apply.
As I said, we've got several tracks of funds. So along with the COVID-19 special initiative, we've also, some things will actually easily fit under that. And we sort that through once the company has made a business partner application. There are some training topics that don't specifically fit COVID-19 because it's not specific to a business disruption or been affected by the COVID-19. We also have another pot of funds that is the Skills for Small Business that has the same simple application process. And so what we would do with those businesses, once they tell us what it is they're looking for, then we figure out what is the best fit for them. Yes, I see there's another question asking, does any organization that pays prevailing wages for employees and contributes to, yes, they can, they are eligible. There are certain job titles for the COVID-19 pot of money that may not be eligible, but again, as I said earlier, our team will look at that and figure out, we have another pot of funds that is available through the Skills for Small Business. So if it is not a fit for the COVID-19 Special Initiative Fund, then we can put them in another pot of money that is the Skills for Small Business Fund. So that question about if you've just got one or two employees, even if it's yourself and you're paying unemployment taxes for yourself, then we can figure out how to help you access funds to cover the cost of the training.
Yeah, so this is extremely exciting, just knowing that we can have some of our unemployment funds that we've already paid as businesses into the state, and the state is deploying it back to the businesses to help us upskill our workers, and they can either pick from a menu of courses that you already have, or they can put their own custom classes together with you and then plan on the schedule and have their employees take these classes, complete the classes, and not pay a penny extra for it except get the credits for it. And HCC is the supplier or the convener of these funds, essentially, into distributing these funds in the way of training credits back to the organization.
And I want to just make sure that we make the distinction between training credit courses and non-credit courses. They can access all three of those. There is training that can be accessed. There is, if a company chooses, which are longer term classes at HCC, then we say, for example, a company may have 1 or 2 employees and they want them to take a full Excel class. We can actually work with them and get them into credit courses at HCC, but also keep in mind they do have to go through the application process and be accepted as a Houston Community College student. The same holds for our continuing education. So we work with them to choose, again, as I said at the beginning, everything that we do is client-centric. We listen to our clients and they direct and drive how we make recommendations for the most appropriate solution for the business.
Talk about how long that process takes.
Okay, so once a business engages in a conversation with us and we have a sense of what training topics they would like, then the first thing we start doing with them is gathering information, and we get the job titles that they'd like to train, and then we check the prevailing wages. So we have a person on our team who will check we don't need you to figure anything out. Just tell us the job title and what the minimum and maximum hourly rate that you paid that individual job title. And we have a person on our team who will check the standard occupation code for that to assure that you are paying prevailing wages. It is normally not an issue or a challenge for our business partners. Then once we have confirmed that, then we work with you we gather the information on the application form and we submit that identify the training. We go ahead and we establish a date that you would like to train your group. And then we submit that information to the Texas Workforce Commission on a business partner application. And they have committed to turning that application around within 72 hours. So what we will do is we try to build in about a 2-week lead time from start to finish for us to get this process and move forward with the training. Now, if they're going to be going into an individual credit course or continuing education training, then everything will be based on when those program offerings actually happen. We do work with them to identify.
So we have another question coming in on YouTube.
What we have been told is there is a 1-year period. We have already secured an amount of funds, and it will be available for a 1-year cycle. Again, none of us know what's going to happen with the COVID-19, but at this point, this amount is available, and we have been told is if we utilize all of this across the state of Texas, the commission is really looking at the impact that it has had and the effectiveness of our delivery, and there will be a consideration for additional funding.
Yeah, this is awesome information, Jennifer, and I'm sure that just from all the comments and all that have come in. So what else can our business community, so first of all, our Houston business community, Greater Houston business community should be really liking this and saying, how can we get our fair share of this pot of money and apply it to the betterment of our community? So let's talk a little bit. Can you share a little bit around what are next steps from here? What would you like to see us do? What would you like? What other things you think might be coming down the pike that might be also of interest?
You know, what I encourage people to do, if you are interested in gaining access to these funds, act now. Act now. Again, when we talk about $10 million, we're talking about that being across the state of Texas. Houston, again, we would love to utilize as much of those funds as we possibly can here in the Houston community. So reach out to us. From what I understand, you all will be sending additional information, my contact information. The flyer that we have put out has the grant manager's contact information. You can reach out to us, let us know that you are interested in the Peak Performance Series or any training that you'd like. We are here to answer questions. We are here to help. We are here to have work with you and bring the resources of the Houston Community College to our Houston community. And that the answer may be unique for you all, but we will figure out how we can track you into the services that we have available through the company.
So, Jennifer, before I close out the show, I wanted to say, is there anything else you would like to just pass on to our viewers?
Well, as I said, this is a wonderful opportunity. With every crisis, there is an opportunity. I really, really strongly recommend to the business community in Houston, use this time that we're all functioning differently, the new normal. This can be a great opportunity for you to train your workforce, because again, a trained workforce, I believe, will really help sustain the business and really, really encourage economic growth here in our Houston community. And that is every one of us, the success of each of us individually hinges on the success of us collectively. And we can do this, utilize these funds. We are here to help at the Houston Community College. And thank you for having me today.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your expertise and this great information on how we can all tap into this $10 million COVID fund and more today, Jennifer. Again, so from our viewers' perspective and from my perspective, thank you very much for being on our show. Now, for our viewers, we will be posting this presentation to the CyberHouston YouTube channel as well as to the cyberhouston.org website. Please do subscribe to the CyberHouston YouTube channel and follow our CyberHouston Facebook page. The other part is that if you have any questions regarding this fund, or you want to talk about cybersecurity and how you can get some cybersecurity training for your employees and how we can package all that, reach out to me or reach out to CyberHouston. It's info@cyberhouston.org. If that can be put up there on the screen at some point here in a moment, that'd be great. Info@cyberhouston.org is the email address. And if you can send us an email, we'll be happy to try and connect you with the right resources. And so CyberHouston is a coalition of volunteer businesses, cybersecurity, academic, government, and civic leaders. Our goal is to continuously educate and inform business leaders on how to manage and govern cybersecurity risk. We take lessons learned from our enterprise members and distill them down into sensible economical guidance to help small and mid-sized businesses improve their cyber posture, build resilience, become better and stronger suppliers back to the enterprise. All our work is done through the help of helping SMBs grow their business. This guidance comes in the form of the Business Vitality Guide, the guidance for the Board of Directors, the Cyber Preparedness Assessment, which is available in paper form as well as in online form as an online assessment, and the free cyber scan. All of these resources are free of charge and can be found under the Resources tab on the cyberhouston.org website. So with that, thank you everyone for joining, and special thanks again to our sponsors, Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, Blue Lance, Reneka Digital, and the University of Houston Downtown. With that, remember to join us on Wednesdays from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Central Time for our Cybersecurity Leadership series. Next Wednesday, I'll be talking with George Crawford, partner at Catapult Energy Services Group, and we will discuss risks and rewards around operational technology and SCADA, OT and SCADA. See you next Wednesday. Be safe, be healthy, have a great day.